Hey guys, Epic Man here, and for today's video, I'll be doing my Time Lord deck profile, and I will also be uploading my opening of a few packs of Battles of Legend Relentless Revenge that I forgot to put up on the channel. And then, as soon as they get here, I'll be doing my Fairy Tail deck profile, or Fairy Tail Link deck profile, I should say. But anyway, let's get started with this. So, obviously for the Time Lord monsters, I run 3 Michion. Pretty much the main boss monster of the deck. You want to see him in your hand as quickly as possible. And obviously it's Time Lord, so you want to go second to get off their abilities. Their good abilities. Pretty much him, if you don't know what he does, is pretty much when he battles, either he gets attacked or he attacks. At the end of the battle phase, half your opponent's life points. And the best part about Time Lords is they can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, so things like Mirror Force can't work on them. They can't be targeted, so yeah, Sakuretsu can't be worked on them because it can't be destroyed. Uh, Bottomless technically could because it doesn't target and it banishes, so Bottomless pretty much be your best way around these. Moving on, your next boss monster would be 3 Sandion. The reason I run 3 Sandion instead of only 2 is because he and Michion are your most sought after go-tos in the deck. And I'll show you why in just a minute. So pretty much what Sandion does, is when he has 4,000 attack points, so he can pretty much get over any monster. So he can destroy your opponent's tough monsters. But neither you or your opponent takes any battle damage from battles involving him. But when he battles, at the end of the battle phase, they take 2,000 life points. So say you had Michion here, and you attacked with Michion first, making their life points, well, attack with Michion first, and then Sandion. Since you attacked with Michion first, their life points would be cut in half, so it'd be down to 4,000 if they had 8,000. And then with Sandion, he'd deal 2,000, so pretty much leaving them with 4,000, or leaving them with 2,000. So pretty much you're dealing like 6,000 life points in one turn if you get both of them out. Which this deck does like to spam out as much Time Lords as possible. But anyway, a good combo for these two. Give me a minute. You can do this like one of 2 ways. Alright, let's say these 2 were in your hand, and you had this out on the field. Infinite Machine. What Infinite Machine does is once per turn, it lets you special summon a Time Lord from your hand. So first, obviously, since you had no monsters, you can normal summon without tributing Sandion. Use Infinite Machine. Special summon Michion or Mikeon. And then attack with Michion. And then Sandion. To then, therefore, do 6,000. But go to main phase 2. Overlay both of them, because they're level 10. And then go into a Gustav Max. Use 1 overlay unit. Or is it 1 or 2? Let me look. 1. And then do 2,000 damage, and pretty much that's an OTK right there. Just using Michion and Sandion. Fight with both of them, starting with him first, to deal half the damage. Then leave him 2,000 once you inflict 2,000 with Sandion. Main phase 2. Gustav's effect. Inflict 2,000. They're done unless they have something they can counter with it. Another way you can do it, say you don't have this on your field. Normal summon without tribute Sandion. or actually doesn't matter either way. Then play Celestial Transformation. Actually, it kind of does matter because Sandion's attack would be halved. And even though he can't be destroyed, you do want him to also take down your opponent's strong monsters too. But use Celestial Transformation to either bring out Sandion or Michion, and then you can do it that way too. Since Michion doesn't even have an attack point, so his attack won't be halved, and he can't be destroyed by card effects regardless, so it doesn't destroy. So, or would it? I mean, look. Yeah, it wouldn't be destroyed by it either. Then you can go in fighting with Michion and then Sandion, and then main phase 2 go into Gustav and finish like that. So that's just good OTK for the deck that I found when making this deck profile. So anyway, moving on with the monsters. Sorry I got a little sidetracked, I just wanted to give a little tip. So for the rest of the monsters, I run 2 Zappion. Pretty much back row sweeper. Pretty much when she battles, either she's attacked or she attacks. Pretty much all the back row cards your opponent controls, I think it's shuffled back into the deck. Yep, they get shuffled back into the deck. But also, why she's in here is because a good combo off with her. Use Advanced Draw to get 2 cards with Advanced Draw. And then with Zaphion's ability, because she was sent to the graveyard from the field, you get an additional card with her ability. So you're pretty much drawing 3 cards with that. Then you run 2 Lazion. Pretty much, if you go up against Lightsworns, he's a good card to use because he shuffles all the cards in their GY back into the deck. Well, with Classic Lightsworn it'd be good, but now Lightsworns also go with Banished. So, it's actually good with anything that deals with cards in the graveyard. Like if they want to use a Monster Reborn, you can just shuffle all their grave back into the deck. Of course, they could, if you get a Time Lord in your grave, if they have Monster Reborn, they could always go for yours, but yeah. Also, the best part about Lazion is if he's on the field and it's your opponent's turn, when they go to draw their 1 card for their draw phase, they take 1,000 damage. So it's a good card to have there. Raffion. I run 1 of him. He's pretty much like a Flame Wingman, so when he attacks, or he is attacked, the monster that he battled with at the end of the battle phase, pretty much they take life point damage equal to that monster's attack. Gabrion. I was debating about running 2 Metaion instead of a Gabrion, just because he and Metaion pretty much do the same thing, only Gabrion has a little bit of a worse thing, but it's fine. What Gabrion does, he doesn't do any burn damage. What he does instead is when he battles, either he's attacked or he attacks, shuffle all monsters on your opponent's side of the field back to the deck, and then they draw that many cards. But he is good because you can counteract that. Say they have nothing but Link monsters on their field. Use Gabrion, attack with Gabrion, and pretty much mess up all their Link plays with that, unless they can stop it. And since they're shuffled back into the extra deck, they don't get to draw any cards, because it's only if they go back in the main deck they get cards. Now for the other of the one-ofs, like I was saying, 1 Metaion. He's pretty much good for messing up Link plays and extra deck plays, pretty much. But also, for every monster shuffled back, except he does it into the hand. So, I think he does. Yep, into the hand. So he's into the deck, he's into the hand. So I guess Gabrion's a little bit better that way as well. However, for every card put back into the hand, he does 300 damage to the opponent. So if they have 5 monsters out, or 6, since there's an extra zone now. That's 3,000. Oh, it's not 3,000. Sorry, my bad. 1,800. Sorry, I was thinking 600 for some reason. My mistake. So 1,800 maximum damage is what he can do if they have all 6 zones filled up. Then I run Camion. Best part about him, he doesn't target. He just sends a monster to the grave. Ran away. Yeah, sorry, not in the grave. You shuffle one card your opponent controls into the deck. So cards like that say they can't be targeted or destroyed, like if it's a mirror match and they have Camion out, Camion can still shuffle your Time Lords because it doesn't target. It just shuffles. So he's a good way to get around cards that say can't be targeted. Then to finish up the Time Lords, I do run 3 Time Maiden. This is your main go-to to get into your boss monsters like Michion. It sadly cannot go into Sandion because it states Time Lord with 0 attack, and Sandion has 4,000. Then for the last 3 cards of the deck, I run 3 hand traps, and that is 3 Swift Scarecrow. Because it is Time Lords and it does like to still stall, and there are going to be times where you break your hand and you're not able to do anything, which is like, it's before we had these new ones, it was like way too often, so I had to run other hand traps, well not hand traps, but like Necro Garden and whatnot. But now I just run Swift Scarecrow because he's only in here for turns I don't get a Time Lord out in my field in time and whatnot, but he's still very useful because if your opponent attacks directly and he's in your hand, you just discard him to the grave, or GY rather, and ends the battle phase. So he's still pretty useful. Now for the spells, I run 3 Advanced Draw, since you are running pretty much all monsters that are at least level 10. And this, how you do it if you don't know what it does, is tribute a monster that's level 8 or above and draw 2 cards. So like I was saying, good way to do this is have Zaphion out, tribute her to get 3 cards. Then I run 3 Celestial Transformation. My bad. Pretty much self-explanatory to get out an extra Time Lord, so that way you have 2 Time Lords on your field. 1 for 1 to go into your Time Maiden. Foolish Burial to send her to the graveyard to get off her ability that lets you special summon a Time Lord. Monster Reborn to bring back your Time Lords that are in the grave. And now into the traps. I run 3 Empty Machine. What this card does is you can only activate it when you have no other spells and traps on your field, or spells, traps, or any cards. Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. For some reason I was thinking you had to have no other cards in your field. I'm probably thinking of something else. But what it does is it has 2 abilities, which you can only use 1 of once per turn. So since it's a trap, you can use it on your opponents as well. So its 1 ability is discard 1 level 10 monster to draw a card. And its other one, this is what I was thinking. If this is the only card in your spell and trap zone, target 1. Where is it? Target 1 Infinite Machine, which I only run 1 of, by the way, in this deck, because you only need 1. And then you can set it to your field. Also, Empty Machine, once while it's on the field, it can't be destroyed by card effect. And then Infinite Machine can only be activated by sending an Empty Machine to your graveyard. Once per turn, you can special summon a Time Lord from your hand, or once per turn, you can target one Infinite Light in your deck and set it, or hand or deck, I think. Oh wait, sorry, I read it wrong. During the main phase, special summon one Time Lord monster from your hand. You can target one Time Lord. Its other abilities. You can target one Time Lord monster in your GY, shuffle it into the deck, and then set one Infinite Light directly from your hand or deck. And Empty Machine, I forgot to read. You target one Time Lord monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and then you can set Infinite Machine from your hand or deck. Then what Infinite Light does, this is your OP trap, by the way. Because pretty much they each have an ability where they can't be destroyed. Empty Machine being the weakest, being once while it's on the field. Infinite Machine being once per turn it can't be destroyed by card effect. Yeah, cat effect. Card effect. But Infinite Light here, it can't be destroyed at all by card effect. So once you bring that out, they're not going to be able, your opponent's not going to be able to destroy it whatsoever. So you bring out you activate Infinite Light, then it's pretty much a good game, technically. You can only activate it by sending an Infinite Machine from your field to the GY. Then once per turn, if you control no monsters on your field, you can special summon one each of a Time Lord from your hand, deck, or graveyard. So you're pretty much getting 3 Time Lords if you do it right. Your opponent cannot target Time Lords. Sorry. Neither player can target Time Lords you control with card effects, or return Time Lord monsters from your field to the deck. Once per turn, if you control no monsters, you can special summon up to one Time Lord monster each from your hand, deck, or GY with different names, ignoring their summoning conditions. So that's pretty much your broken trap right here. Then moving on to the rest of them. Sorry if this video is getting too long. Normally I don't go into explaining cards, but this is one of my favorite decks, and they finally got their last support, so, well, possibly last support, so I'm just hyped. 3 Torrential Tribute, because you are running Time Lords and they can't be destroyed by card effect, so your opponent just brings out a troublesome monster, a problematic monster, and you have a Time Lord out. Torrential Tribute, their monster's dead, your Time Lord stays. And then finally 3, Threatening Roar. Because like I said, it is a stall-based deck still. Hence the Torrential Tribute and Swift Scarecrow. This just skips their battle phase this turn. You can use it at any point in their turn. So you can mess with them by like they go into their battle phase and get ready to attack you. Then you could just play this and they can't battle this turn. That's it for the traps. Now to go into the extra deck. I only run 2 because I don't really run linked monsters on this deck because you don't really need to. And that is a 1 Gustav Max and 1 Superdora. Superdora needs 2 level 10 monsters. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and target 1 face-up monster on the field. That target is unaffected by card effects, except for its own effect, until the end of the turn. And then Gustav Max, just you use 1 overlay unit from it. It needs 2 level 10s, and you just deal 2,000 damage to the opponent. Is it once per turn? Yep. So he's what you go into for your OTK of Michion, Sandion. Attack with Michion to deal half, and then attack with Sandion to deal 2,000. They'll only be left with 2,000 life points. Main phase 2, go into Gustav, use 1 overlay unit, and they're finished. So it's a good way to OTK. The deck can't FTK, sadly, because in order to do that, you'd have to attack, and first player is not allowed to attack. So it can't FTK or first turn kill. It could if it wasn't for the fact that Time Lords if it wasn't for the fact that first player can't attack. But it still can OTK. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry again if it was too long than normal. The next video I'll be doing will be my Fairy Tale deck profile. I'm just waiting on the 3 Princesses, my Wonder of the Castle, Hextrude, and Gilf. And once those get here, I will definitely do the deck profile. Until then, Epic Man signing out.